Hi guys, it's Miss Smith. Welcome to another lesson brought to you from my bed. Today we're going to be talking about algebraic expressions and the vocabulary words that are super important to help us solve these problems and understand them. So before we really get into the equations, we need to know what in the world is a variable or a coefficient. So we've got lots of things to talk about and lots of words to learn. Our first vocabulary word that we're going to talk about today is algebraic expressions. These are mathematical phrases that include at least one variable and sometimes numbers and operations. An algebraic expression may look like 4x plus 3. This contains a coefficient, a variable, a constant, and an operation symbol. Our next vocabulary word is variable. A variable is a letter or symbol used to represent a number that may vary. In the example problem 4x plus 3, the x is our variable. That means that could be any number. Our third vocabulary word is coefficient. A coefficient is a number multiplied by a variable in an algebraic expression. So in our example problem that we've been looking at, 4x plus 3, the coefficient is 4. Because that's the number being multiplied by a variable. Remember, if we see a number next to a variable without any operation in between, that means it's going to be multiplication. Next, let's talk about a constant. A constant is a quantity that does not change its value. So that means it's going to be a number that is not multiplied by a variable. In our example problem 4x plus 3, the 3 is the constant because it is not being multiplied by a variable. Next, let's talk about a term. A term is a number, variable, or product of a number of variables. In our example, 4x plus 3, there are two terms. The term 4x is a product of a number and a variable, so that is one term put together. And then 3 is the second term. So this problem has two terms. 4x is a term and 3 is a term. Lastly, let's review order of operations. Order of operations are the rules that are needed to be followed when simplifying an expression, or in other words, when solving an expression. We use the acronym PEMDAS to help us remember the steps. The P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M, multiplication, D is for division, A is for addition, and S is for subtraction. Now, it's really important to remember that this, while we have 6 letters, is technically only 4 steps. Step 1 is to solve everything inside the parentheses. Step 2 is to solve any exponents. Step 3 is to multiply and divide in order from left to right. So sometimes you'll do division first and sometimes you'll do multiplication first. Then step 4 is adding and subtracting in order from left to right. Again, when you read the number sentence or you read the algebraic expression, whichever one comes first, that's the one you do. So let's solve our example problem 4x plus 3 using the order of operations. If x equals 4, I need to replace the x with the number 4. And my equation then says 4 times 4 plus 3. Now I want you to think, what step do we need to do in order to first solve the problem? If you said we needed to start with multiplying, you'd be correct. 4 times 4 is 16. The final step would be to add. 16 plus 3 equals 19. So in the equation 4x plus 3, if x equals 4, then the answer would be 19. Get ready to show me what you learned about all of these vocabulary words in a quick Google form.